The show that inspires, educates, and innovates. You're listening to the Hemp Chat. I'm your host, Derek Cross, and welcome to the show. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I am your host, Derek Cross. As always, I am here sharing and celebrating life with you guys. Man, wow, have we been doing a lot here, educating in the hemp space. We got a lot going on, and I want to give a big shout out to everybody. Our past guests, that was great. Great episode. If you hadn't, check it out with Kayla and Flip and their company Good Kind Hemp, and their topicals are just amazing. So thank you for being there for us and educating. And coming into this week, this is the first week in October, book release time. And, when I got involved in the hemp space, it was, like I said, over 12, 13 years I've been educating. And what really got me involved was the hemp seed oil, putting it on my skin for eczema. Wow. It did wonders for me, okay? It really helped open up my eyes to see what natural products can do to help heal the human body. And as you know, my mission is planting seeds of wellness for the people on the planet. And so that's what we do. Go ahead and plant it. Well, this hemp seed is not only beneficial as an oil for your skin, but it's full of omegas, etc. A well-balanced protein, a complete protein. And so I started cooking with the hemp seed and the hemp seed oil, and then the protein powders, and just getting into it. And I wanted to be one of the first people to put a hemp cookbook together on hemp paper. And our next guest has actually done that, and I'm so honored to have her on. Shadi Ramey is here with us, and she is such an amazing talent, doing so much for the hemp space. She's really a big inspiration to many, and I get to sit down and chat with Shadi, and she's an accomplished hemp innovator. She's also a talented chef, and she has a master's degree in Cultural Anthropology. I know that's a word I can barely get out half the time. So she's a really smart lady, and she's doing a lot of educating, consulting, and doing some culinary arts. She is a plant-based chef for over a decade. So I think you're really going to enjoy this show. She's got a cookbook coming out on hemp paper, and boy, oh boy, I'm so honored to have her on, and so thankful. She beat me to the punch, but you know what? All that matters is all that message is getting out, and you're going to enjoy these recipes. So I urge you to go over to ShadiRamey.com. That's ShadiRamey.com, and you're going to enjoy the show. And as always, go love somebody, go hug somebody, and be good to somebody, right? Let's be good to our people and our planet. And I appreciate you guys following along and sharing our stuff. If you want to, be a sponsor, give us a call. If you want to, you can contact us on the Contact Us page. Or if you have a story to tell, we'd love to hear it. Let's hear more about what you're doing in the wonderful world of hemp and how you're working to make the planet a better place for all of us. So all of our sponsors, I want to thank the Hemp Sense and Hemp Sense USA for producing and distributing some beautiful products into the market, all natural cat litter, animal bedding, and soil enricher, just to name a few. Tiny Hemp Houses, building a new way to the future using old means. And obviously, Canaf Partners USA. We appreciate everything they're doing, educating about the Canaf plant. And Colorado Hemp Tea, HD Innovates, and Eco Envision, just to name a few. They're doing some great thing in the energy storage technology sector. If you haven't checked out Eco Envision, please do so. If you want more information, everything, give us a reach out on the contact page. Or drop us an email. We greatly appreciate it. Enjoy this next segment with Shadi Ramey. You're listening to the Hemp Chat, a podcast that inspires and educates, utilizing agricultural hemp. We're here to provide meaningful content for you to pursue your passions. My name's Derek Cross, and I'm an educator in the field of hemp. I'm sitting down with others so that they can discuss their lessons that they have learned and their experience utilizing hemp in their fields, impacting their community, and helping others develop and craft their skills, and giving you the knowledge to be healthier and happier. And we are planting seeds of wellness for the people and the planet. So go ahead, plant it. All right, guys, welcome back to the Hemp Chat. I'm your host, Derek Cross, and as always, we try to give you the best education, innovation, and inspiration in the hemp space. And, you know, we are always advocating about hemp in multiple ways, and we have a great guest here today with us. And I'm going to tell you what, she is one of a fine being, okay? She is of many. So we're going to start out a little bit about Shadi Ramey. She is an accomplished hemp innovator and a thought leader, okay? Multitude of talents as a chef, a product developer, and she's doing many things in this space. And I want you guys to check her out in some of the places and things she does. She's not only a chef, she's a culinary anthropologist of cannabis cuisine. So that was a lot for me to spit out, Shadi. I want you to shed a little light on that for us here, but I want to welcome you to the Hemp Chat. I know you got a lot of things coming out, and this is kind of why you're here, to help educating about hemp and food and cannabis. So why don't we go ahead and say hello to you and tell us a little bit about you and where you've been and how you got going in this space.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your kind words. Appreciate it. Thank you for having me on. I love cannabis. I've had a relationship with cannabis since my late teens. That wasn't always supported, and I was definitely like the black sheep of like a Persian family. Going to dead shows and smoking ganja and like wearing hemp hats and playing hacky sack with my hemp sack and all that. I went to grad school, and I was really interested in a pretty relatively new concept called sustainable development. It had just come out of like the Rio Climate Summit in 1992. And so in 2000, I went to Nepal, and my research was, for my master's degree, was really evaluating this relatively kind of new concept called ecotourism. So I went to Nepal and I studied ecotourism and stayed there for 5 weeks. And it was a really big, intense experience, which I believed has really like ground my root chakra. Is all kind of has to do with like sustainability, conscious capitalism, these really important way to operate in the world, where you're thinking about equity and the environment, ecological and social equity. And so that was like a big foundation of who I am. And I've been a professor of anthropology, and I in the early 2000s started doing what you were referring to as culinary anthropology. And so I was really interested in basically like immersing myself in the cuisine of a different culture, and then like bringing that back, and then having like experiences and farm dinners and classes and connecting people with these different places on planet Earth through food. That was like a really big part of my work in the last decade. And then I wanted to get into the cannabis space professionally in 2014. And then as we were doing our research, we were like, oh shit, that's like super cost prohibitive for us. It's just, we were looking at like maybe $750,000 investment. We just weren't in that space. So someone was like, hey, someone I know has a hemp coffee. And I was like, what is that? And then we went to like the worst farm I've ever seen in my whole life. And we were like, we can do that. We're going to do that too, but we're going to do it up. And so in 2015, started growing hemp on this I had a 1 acre spot, like 12 miles north of Boulder, Colorado. and started growing hemp there. And it was then that I had like the amazing opportunity to like be with these plants every day. And at that point, if you wanted to like take a hemp leaf off and like make a biscuit with it or juice it, you were really supposed to tell the Department of Ag, fill out all the, ridiculous paperwork. And I didn't do any of that. And so I just started like playing with it on a daily basis, juicing it, eating it, baking with it, all kinds of stuff, different parts of the plant. And that's where, and now at this point, part of my journey on this cookbook that I have coming out this fall called Hemp Can Change the World. And so that's kind of my quick blurb, my fast forward version of, 20 years.
Well, that's fantastic. I tell you. So you are a resident of Colorado. I live in Texas. I had the opportunity in 2013 to go out to Ryan Laughlin's, and I always give Ryan Laughlin the kudos for, I've been educating for many years before I met Ryan, but that was how we met, is on the internet. And I got the opportunity to go out to that field, harvest with 50 different individuals from around the country, really get into a field and go, wow, I'm here, and this has always been my dream and passion. And so I partnered with the next year with one of the first female farmers in the country, and we were growing primarily for tea, and we started doing crockpot CBD, so the things you're saying about getting leaf, we were making tea with it, and then we were just like expanding and just blowing everything up and juicing and, flash freezing, etc. And, we knew the benefits, but it's hard when you're dealing with legislation and legislators trying to get the full understanding of what hemp's about. And when we talk about the medicinal benefits from a THC standpoint, but then we look at, non-THC and just hemp seed oil and hemp seed and the protein and the omegas. And so it's not only what we put on us, it's what we put in us, And so we've evolved with this plant, right? So that's my take on it. And I want to say thank you to Colorado for really being leaders and pioneers into this space, and it's the food that makes your brain keep going, providing it with the omegas in our diet, right? Our brain's fat. This is the healthy fats. Maybe you can talk a little bit more about that, because you're a plant-based culinary chef. So what else do you got in your little cookbook that you want to exploit here on health, knowledge, and wisdom?
Well, there's lots of goodies. And so, really you have to get the book for all of it. But yes, I'm totally vibing with everything you're saying. Of course, I love it so much. And the whole book is vegan. So every recipe is plant-based. There's over 60 recipes, and the entire book is gluten-free. And there are many paleo-friendly and keto-friendly recipes in there. So, again, back to anthropology, just following up on what you said in terms of absolutely, I believe that we evolved with cannabis so much so that we have an endocannabinoid system.
I know, isn't that crazy? It's awesome.
Amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing.
We're wired for it.
That we're just recently talking about what taps that in and opens up those parts of your body that are actually there, the receptors that are waiting for it, So
that's right.
The cookbook is definitely super nerdy. I'm a big nerd, and so I approached it like that.
You look like a big nerd, by the way. I'm teasing. You do not. I'm kidding. I'm
so nerdy. Yeah. And so there's trickles of that nerdiness throughout there. There's lots of, information on just high vibe kitchen. What does it mean to eat high vibe? That's really a big part of the book as well. And what are those ingredients and the recipe? There's many recipes that are actually brain food. I'm really into making recipes for different parts of the body. Yep. So hemp is an excellent way to feed your brain. We're also talking about MCT powders in there and different kinds of fats. I'm really into mushrooms, a big ethnomycology, culinary mycology nerd. So there's some of that stuff in there, and lion's mane. And so yeah, hemp is like one of the most amazing plant-based superfoods on the planet, for sure. And it's an excellent way to get, I think, really high vibe nutrition,
It is. And for the listeners out there, Shadi is also known as B Satya on Facebook, and you can follow her there. And she's big into the culinary world, but she's also big into the mycelium and mushrooms, etc. Right? So she's feeding the earth, soil. She's feeding your soul with nutrition, and her message is clean and wholesome. She is trying to make people better by the foods they eat and everything that they put into their body, soul, mind, and spirit. So thank you for just thank you for everything you're doing. I follow you pretty closely, and I see all the information you're putting out there. And people, you mentioned lion's mane, right? Brain food, omegas, brain food. When you can get omegas clean from a plant and not have to worry about getting your omegas from other sources, like fish is the most other popular. Not saying not to eat fish. I think you should eat fish, but get it from a clean, wholesome, grown place, and the earth provides for us, And I try to speak to my children about the brain food. So you make brain food. I used to tout, this is brain food. This is what we need for our brains. Can you elaborate a little bit more on some of the reasons why we want to consume omegas?
Well, I just think for me, the number one reason that I want to consume, I'm sorry, my dog
That's okay.
Loves hemp and something's bothering him outside. I want to make sure that we are eating high omega diet, like for the lubrication of basically all of our systems. I think is really, really important. Having essential fatty acids. Again, like back to your brain, the brain is like the most misunderstood organ in our body. It's been studied probably more than other organs, but it is the least understood currently, and how the magic of the brain. And so, I think that feeding your brain, if you're not doing anything else, is one of the most important things you can do to increase your vitality. I think that's like really, really top.
Yeah. And it's funny when you eat foods like tomatoes, different foods are good for different parts of your body. Right. So when you look at the hemp seed right here, guys, doesn't that emulate your brain? And then when you start sprouting the hemp seed, it starts coming out and it actually looks like a brain stem and a brain. So that's the thing I love. It's perfect brain food. What is it?
Biomimicry.
Yes, that's right.
Yes, that's like a walnut. When you look at a walnut,
same thing.
It looks like your brain.
Yeah.
You'll find this all over nature where it's actually telling you.
Eat me. Yeah, that's right.
That message.
Yeah, that's right.
So amazing.
Yeah, and when we're talking about the omegas, et cetera, these essential fatty acids that help reduce inflammation, right?
Absolutely.
And inflammation is the root of disease. And so when you can mitigate inflammation and reduce the inflammation, you're combating disease within your body,
Absolutely.
And a lot of foods, not only hemp, there's so many other foods that you could probably go into that'll just blow your mind. We talk about turmeric, we talk about anti-inflammatories like turmeric and ginger and mushrooms, all of it. And we got to throw out all the Cheetos and other garbage, so if you happen to be getting certain cravings and you got to have, a Cheeto because it looks like a carrot, forget it. Just grab a carrot. You know what I mean? They try to trick us with the garbage. And, once in a while, if you're going to jump off the wagon and hit a bag of Cheetos, then go for it. But then replenish yourself with, I like to do like an 80-20. 80% good, 20%. Yeah. That's what
a
I
B
do,
plus.
you know?
Or that's a
So
B. That's a solid B.
it's a
That's
solid B,
amazing.
right?
Yeah, that's
Right.
great.
And so,
Yeah, and also just on the omega-3s, obviously on the omegas, just the hair, skin, nails. These are like really crucial, like building blocks of our bodies. And so
yeah.
we get fed, those get fed in a proper way to, again, increase our vitality, which is what we want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, just going off of hemp seed, let's just give our listeners a little bit of insight here. What do we have here for one serving, 3 tablespoons generally? Okay, you get about 8 grams of omega-6 and 3 grams of omega-3. Okay, you also get, here's the real goodies: iron, thiamine, riboflavin, vitamin B6, folate, phosphorus, magnesium, zinc, and manganese.
Amazing.
Zinc is one of the things, if you're getting sick, it helps build your immune system. That's what really excites me about this plant.
I know, it's amazing. And also just that you get 11 grams of protein.
Yeah.
In 3 tablespoons.
And 3 tablespoons. That's nothing.
Wow. Yeah. And so, yes, it's my favorite. It's one of my favorite top plants, my favorite top 4. And so I'm really, a lot of the other things you just brought up, turmeric, anti-inflammatories, mushrooms, all this, that is all is in the cookbook. Because I can't separate myself, because that's who I am. And the book is like my message, right? That I want to disseminate the information through the book. And so that's just naturally in there, because those are the things that I use at my kitchen's full of stuff like that. And that's just naturally a part of the recipes and the vibe.
Yeah. And I love that you have most of your goodies in glass too. So
that's in the book too.
Yeah. Yeah. So
don't eat plastic.
Don't eat plastic. No, ma'am. There's
a section called Don't Eat Plastic.
So building this cookbook, I mean, can you give us a little insight about, how you started? Give us a little beginning, middle, and ending to it.
Sure. I'd love to try to be efficient and succinct. Yeah. In 2015, these women who have a restaurant in Boulder, it's called Shine. Shout out to Shine. They hired me to do the recipe writing and the testing for their cookbook that they had. They're like actually listed like one of the top restaurants, 10 restaurants in Boulder by New York Times Magazine, or New York Times, pretty sure. And so I took on that project, 2015. It was a really big project. I'd never done anything like that before. But out of a lot of the different like serial entrepreneur work I've done all through food, starting in 2005, it was like one of my favorite gigs. So I really enjoyed the work, and it was like before then that I knew I wanted to have my own cookbook. But that was pretty big for me to have that experience. In 2017, I went to a cookbook writing immersion in Santa Fe, New Mexico, with one of my favorite vegetarian cookbook authors. Her name's Deborah Madison. And she used to work with Alice Waters and at Chez Panisse and stuff like this. So I went to spend a week with her. And then, I just learned a lot about the process. I learned a lot about the traditional process of publishing, which I learned that I wanted to activate around. It wasn't really something I had thought about before, but I am a rebel and like want to chant down Babylon. And I was really upset about a lot of the traditional publishing world and how toxic it is, and just the way it works. And so it was then that I decided I want to self-publish my book, and I didn't want to be censored. And so, I just started, working on these recipes, some of them since 2014.
Wow. Hang on. Wait a second. Okay. I'm just taking a brain break. So you're a rebel that doesn't want to be censored. 2 thumbs up.
Is there any other kind?
No, that's great. I love it. That's fantastic. Sorry.
But it didn't start out like that. It was just really like my takeaway from there was like, okay, I'm totally going to crush this cookbook on hemp, and I'm going to self-publish. That was like my big takeaway. And then at that time, I had accidentally created the first edible hemp intimacy cream. So I had a company for that. I was kind of busy doing that. And so I had to manage that and take that to where I wanted it to be, and kind of kept fighting to get back to my food work. And then in 2019.
That sounds like a slippery slope.
Yeah. Well,
oh, all puns intended. Sorry.
Yeah. And I think that I do find this, just to segue real quick, a lot like a lot of people in the industry I know, like yourself, where, we're getting these downloads and we have this creative connection to cannabis, and we want to do all these things, and some of us absolutely crush doing all kinds of shit, even though it's like probably not the best for us in the long run if we're talking about increasing our vitality, right? So it's like trying to compartmentalize and get back to my work and focus on the cookbook, and decided to do that for 2019, just focus on the book. And so that's what I was doing. And and so the cookbook kind of came to take a life of its own. When I started out, I wanted it to be like this big, fat, bougie book with like all these amazing pictures and on my Instagram and all that. But then at some point, then it really started to dawn on me about the environmental aspect and the impact of traditional publishing. And so decided to do a micro book on hemp paper. And so then it turned into this whole other thing. And, then it became like a call to action for me, and to use it because, and it's one of the first books printed on hemp paper in over 100 years. I want to say it's the first one, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want someone to tell me it's not. And it's definitely the first hemp cookbook on hemp paper.
You beat me to it. I wanted to do that long time ago, but I'm all right. That a girl, you get it.
Thank you so much.
I can't wait to get one. I want one.
Thank you so much.
Save me one.
Of course. Yeah, there's a limited edition of the print.
Sign it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Done.
Awesome. Congratulations on that.
Thank you so much. So I'm Persian. So is cannabis. So there's like Persian stuff in there. There's stuff from the Middle East. Like there's stuff from Japan. I spent some time in Japan, and Japan has like an old culture, old cannabis culture. And so there's like little speckles of these different speckles of like different places on planet Earth where cannabis has a legacy or a connection or a tradition. And and then it has this activist undertone. I'm not sure what it is, where, I just feel like even now more than ever through COVID, like it's really important for us to be conscious capitalists and to do the right thing when no one's looking. And that, part of, I think, my pet peeve in cannabis, the cannabis hemp industry in general, has been people like misusing and abusing the term sustainability. And so I really want to walk my walk and talk my talk, and that's my thing. And that's kind of what the book turned into, something else. So just to finish up, now it's it is, I'm pretty sure, the first carbon neutral book. And so the entire project is carbon neutral. And the way we're doing the carbon finance is working with an organization so that in order to offset the carbon that we create by printing the book and any travel for our tour, all of it, that we purchase credits by buying these non-toxic cook stoves for women in Uganda. That's part of it. And we're giving 1% for the planet, and we're giving $1 for every book sold to the Last Prisoner Project.
Very cool.
So that's how it started, and this is how it ended.
Very cool. Well, congratulations. And, the wonderful thing about cookbooks, and, I always used to see, my grandmother and my mom cooking and my friends cooking, everybody's cooking, and what do they have as a cookbook, right? And I know we live in a technology world where you can just swipe the page now, but there's nothing like grabbing a book, smelling fingering the tabs, right? And knowing the love and, oh shit, I spilt my wine on page number 3. Oh, I got sauce on page number 12, et cetera, et cetera. And now that's your personal storybook too. So every time, it's always nice to have a book out, do it the old fashioned way, get into it, love it, honor it, respect it, hug it, do whatever. It's your book.
That's how I feel.
So that's the joy of putting it on a sustainable product like hemp. And, in this hemp space, we want to see everything hemp, but I always try to urge larger industries, to just start incorporating small percentages, do 5%, 10%, 20%, and start phasing out this method, start increasing this over time. It's got to make sense, right? Let's do non-toxic methods of washing paper. Let's do non-toxic methods of ink, non-toxic ways of binding, non-toxic ways of packaging, and try to minimize our footprint at all times, whether it's on paper, toilet paper, whatever. And then you're supporting your local farms, because we are in the year 2020. I say, this is my opinion, we live in a throwaway society. I urge you, go ahead, throw it away. We'll grow more.
Right.
We'll continue to grow more because it's sustainable, people. And if you do happen to throw it away, it goes into the trash pile and just builds, microorganisms eating up more trash,
For sure.
So anyhow, thank you for putting your book on a sustainable
Thank you so much.
product like hemp. And
thank you so much.
I want to dive into some more, if you have a moment, to talk more about your cannabis culinary skills. So, I mean, when a lady is in the kitchen, just let her be, right? So what do you whip up usually? What's your best culinary hemp, and what's your best culinary cannabis meal?
Whoa, that's hard.
Meal.
Well,
what's one of your favorites of each?
Well, I would say for infusing with THC, my oldest gig is baking pot brownies.
Whoa, never heard of them.
Yeah, for reals. Because, I mean, it was like, I don't know, I don't want to date myself, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time I was like making ghee and learning that whole process and kind of mastering that to the point where when we ate the brownies, I was like landlocked, like closet. I sat in a closet with people for hours, like when I was like really mastering it. So I'd say I'm still like an amazing brownie baker. Plus now I'm a vegan baker. So I have to say I love doing that. And I just feel like something that I don't hear enough is kind of like, I don't know, when you're a witch, when you have witchy tendencies and you're like making potions and lotions and whatever it is, if you put in that vibe to what you're making and bring that intention and that awareness into the food. And that's where sometimes I get bummed when I see some cannabis edibles, because they have like food coloring and they've had like horrible chemicals and like propylene glycol and stuff like that, So back to the brownie, I think that's really important to bring that intention, and actually, because it is medicine and it is powerful. And you do trip. You can definitely trip by eating cannabis. So I take it seriously. And it's so hard with the hemp because of the cookbook. I don't know that I would, I don't think that I could have a favorite recipe. I do like to, I don't think I have a favorite recipe. I mean, I like the ones that are from like different cultures in the world and stuff where you'd be like, what? Like you put hemp seeds in what?
Right.
Those are the ones I'm like, I think the most proud of, because it's like, yeah, I made like a crazy Persian stew with okra and the hemp hearts. And it's delicious.
Yeah, it is. And to the listeners that haven't tried hemp seed or hemp oil, hemp protein powder. So hemp seed, hemp oil are really rich and nutty, and they taste like, everybody has their own opinion. But the most opinion on the planet is a combination between sunflower seeds and pine nuts. It's got a real earthy tones, earthy taste and richness. It is really rich. And then when you're cooking with the hemp flour, hemp protein powders, it's really dense. So you're still going to use some type of flour, and you're going to only introduce, usually, depending on what you're making, about a 2-to-1, 3-to-1 ratio of hemp versus the flower, but it all depends on the recipe, and you're going to learn more in her cookbook, what she's got for you. There's so many good things. I like making brownies too. I like making breads and muffins and cookies. It just adds an extra flavor to it that is just more earthy, and it's great. And if you do get hemp protein powder, be careful what you get. Sometimes it can be really gritty. Okay. And that can really, so you want to sift that flour out and make sure you separate some of that grit. That's all I can tell you. What else do you have for us there on your creations?
Well, I just have yummy things like there's a recipe for Japanese shichimi togarashi. In the spice chapter, there's like a whole chapter on spice.
Holy shishimiti! What was that? What in the world is that?
It's shichimi for short. It's called Japanese 7 spice.
Oh my gosh!
In Japan, cannabis is very, very illegal in Japan. You can go to prison. But hemp seeds have been a part of this recipe since the 1800s. That's one of my kind of really funky recipes. There is like the best hummus recipe ever. And I'm Persian. Persian people don't make hummus, but this really is bomb. And it has some like roasted and sauteed hemp seeds with the, so we have hemp heart recipes, and then we have a couple recipes that just have hemp seeds that haven't been cracked open. And so they're like brown and nutty and super yummy.
Are they toasted or are they just straight?
This one's toasted in this recipe with like jalapeno, with a serrano pepper and some cumin. So there's like funky stuff like that. There's like a whole chapter on baked goods. And we have like kimchi pancakes to like a hemp apple crumble for Thanksgiving, where you could bring the hemp vibe into the holidays this year. I think that's going to be really fun for people. And I think there's like two different kinds of hemp fat bombs in there, like a cardamom rose, because I'm Persian and we love those flavors. And like there's a lion's mane matcha.
Oh, right? So that's kind of awesome.
It's stuff that I think it's awesome to sprinkle stuff with hemp and make smoothies. And I think that's amazing. But this is not that. This is something else.
Yeah, that's fantastic. When you can just keep creating, and that's the beautiful thing about the culinary skills is you just keep adding and creating and testing and trying. And, when you make something finally, you're like, yeah, this is it. This is the meal. And it's building and adding and always innovating in foods, right?
Yes.
And creating. So thanks for getting it outside of just the norm of, it's great at all levels. Don't get me wrong, but way to step it up to the she or whatever that is. I mean, that is amazing. I can't wait to get the book and try these things. So,
thank you so much.
We always want to eat healthy and continue to live healthy. So what else do you have going on in your little space? You're yourself a hemp farmer, right?
Yeah, I am. And I've decided to boycott hemp licenses right now. So I'm not growing hemp anymore.
Okay.
This is my first year of just growing straight up THC plants.
Okay.
We have our 12 on our property, and that's what we're doing. And we're really happy for that. So that's a small part of what I've been doing. I'm, before COVID, was planning this really big book tour to spread the gospel of hemp, this high vibe nutrition around the planet. So that's on a delay, and we're starting that on 4/20. And between now and then, I'll be doing some pretty funky dinners with small groups of people, keeping it safe. But, hopefully we'll keep living life and trying to enjoy the present moment. And so I'm working on that. And then, our tour starts on 4/20. And I'm doing lots of mushroom events right now. Lots of virtual stuff. I've been teaching about mushrooms a lot this summer. And so I'm so grateful for the book, and I'm so happy. And I'm also equally totally focusing on mushrooms as well right now. It's a really big part of my work.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the mushrooms once again. Are you by chance starting your own mushroom farming at a small scale for your own for your own kitchen, for your own
Yes.
um and if what is your other than um what is your favorite mushroom that you love the most?
I'm like Persian guilt. I don't think I can really just pick one mushroom, a mushroom. I would say the mushroom that's had the biggest impact on my life to date is psilocybin. And I think that, yeah, it played a very formative role in my late teens and early 20s. And I believe still now more than ever that it actually really shaped who I am and my heart and my mission in life. And so I'm super grateful always to that mushroom. And then outside of that, right now, I would only have a favorite per month is cordyceps. They're my favorite. They're so crazy. They're amazing.
Yeah.
They're amazing.
Yeah, and cordyceps are a little different in the family of mushrooms. They're
They're a fungus,
they're
actually.
a
I shouldn't even
fungus,
talk.
not necessarily a mushroom, right?
No, they're not a
But
mushroom.
they're full of energy, and that's the best thing about cordyceps is they really pick you up and give you that uplift, and they keep you focused. And I really love cordyceps. I'm big into reishi, uh, turkey tail, cordyceps. Um, shiitake. I remember I was 15. My neighbor across the street in Wisconsin, he's like, "Hey, I got a summer job for you." We were coring oak logs, putting them in the basement of the barn, soaking them, sporing them, and we were growing shiitake. And I was like, "Shiitake? What the hell's this?" I learned, and I started learning more about mushrooms back when I was 15, and I'll be 50. So I love mushrooms, and
That's
there's
amazing.
just nothing better than eating and digging into, all types, portable. I don't care which one you just get in them.
I
They need to
know,
get in you too.
for
So there's
sure.
so many benefits from, and when you're combating disease within your body, stop the sugars, stop the heavy glutens, find out what's going on in your internal organs, build up your immune system by putting, mushrooms are great for your immune system. They are fantastic. So
I couldn't agree with you more. So just to follow up on because cordyceps are a fungus.
yeah,
But my favorite culinary mushroom right now, or it is also medicinal, but I'm really into lion's mane.
yeah.
I made these lion's mane po' boys.
Oh,
So delicious.
oh my gosh.
So delicious. I have to send you a picture.
Yeah, please do. Please send me a picture of that. That sounds amazing. Oh my gosh. Making my mouth water here just talking about it.
So I'm just nerding out. I just immersed in a mushroom and I learned as much as I can about it. I do this little dorky thing called the Magic Mushroom Show on Facebook, and they're like 3 minutes long, and I just choose a mushroom out of this magic mushroom jar like an insane person, and then I talk about it for 3 minutes.
Wow. That's crazy. I'm going to have to check that one out. I don't think I've seen that one yet. What is it on Facebook?
Magic Mushroom Show.
The Magic Mushroom Show. Wow, fantastic. That's really cool. So you're done growing hemp right now. You're more focused on the THC growing. Why are you boycotting that for all purposes for now? Why?
I just don't want to support Babylon. Like, I don't want to support this bullshit shitstem of oppression where we're being controlled about the plants that we're growing. I think that's unacceptable. That makes me want to like burn. Like, I love peace and love and kumbaya. Like, that's my jam. But that kind of shit makes me want to like burn shit down and like get rowdy. So
Yeah.
I don't think that the Department of Ag has any business knowing the lat long of anything happening on my property, and the way that, even though they're progressed over the last 5 years, I really don't want to support them at all.
No, I totally understand your thinking and message there. And in this space, in the world we live, I always feel that it's not us against them. It's us educating them. And like you said, things have changed in progression slowly and less radical. But you have to draw a line in the sand, and I commend you for that.
Thank you. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I hear what you're saying, and I know that, on one hand, it's like, hey, at least we're growing hemp. Like, let's be supportive in that way, and I get all that. And then I also think that, a lot of times, even just for ourselves, like, we need to show leadership and go against, like, the norm and what's comfortable.
Because I've had leaders in the hemp industry discourage me when I wanted to talk to them about printing on hemp paper, and them saying, hey, it's not cost effective right now. Just go do it on recycled paper. And so if I didn't always have my Ganesh Machete, I would have just quit and been like, okay, I'm going to do recycled paper. But really, it's like there's less of a margin. Hemp paper is super expensive, but that'll be addressed as more and more of us are buying hemp paper and creating collateral on hemp. We have to do that. We can't say, oh, go do recycled paper. That's bullshit. We need to like be the change and like show true leadership in the new cannabis economy. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I'm right. I'm right with you there. I don't even want to get started in some of the groups and leadership, so-called leadership. I feel I've been deemed one of the faces of this movement by my peers over the past 7 years here in the United States, and being globally recognized. I try to use my influence in positive manners, but I also want to let people know that through evolution, we didn't have this book of rules. Where a bird shits is where the seed is planted, right? Right?
True story.
So I mean, we have to remember and do right by others. We want to be respectful to everybody, but as we evolved here, there wasn't that written book of you can't grow here, you can't do this, you can't do. And if you're on your own property and you're not causing harm to any others, I believe people have that personal right. And as we continue to evolve, and you made a great point there, we vote with our dollars, right? It's all about voting with your dollars, buying the products you want. And it's putting the money into these products that are behind me, right? These are, my partner's products that we're producing and distributing: cat litter, soil enricher, animal bedding. I got horse supplements. I mean, we have the pet pro for our pets.
I love it.
I keep jamming. I hate to say jamming, but I keep jamming the message down. And I've worked with so many different groups. You probably have too, where you have that real calm conversation, and you turn a really conservative Christian old lady into a hemp lover. Man, there ain't no better feeling than that. What? And I do that a lot, That's awesome. And I do that. And that's what really gives me pride, because it's not falling on deaf ears. And when you can bring that message to the table and walk away knowing, wow, I just changed somebody's thought process on what's been suppressed in this country and around the world, because others had higher interest. You're a higher interest right there. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So it's all about the education, and we're winning. I see it, I see it in the food system. And if they feel threatened, just make the freaking change. Be better. You see people, you talked about food coloring and all that other stuff in people's foods. Fuck that. Use natural. You can color did you guys know you can color your clothes with like turmeric for a natural yellow? Do you guys know there's so many dyes, natural dyes? We all live this uniform. Oh, we got to, oh, I got to have this. This is all dyed. Your jeans are dyed. Your shirts are dyed. Your paper's dyed. Reduce all that. We'll be a better people. We'll be a better people. We'll be a better planet.
Amen. So good.
I'm done preaching right now. But
yeah, I'm done. The mission of the book is to spread the gospel of hemp as high vibe nutrition. And we as me and my team, you know, we everywhere we're going and everyone we're talking to, I mean, the book is for everyone. If you're like super hemp nerd like us, the book's certainly for us. If you're a vegan, the book's for you. If you eat paleo, add hemp to your diet. Keto, add keto. People who are, and I think of like, you know, I went to college in West Virginia, and I think of someone like the cute little sweet old ladies, kind of what you were talking about. And I've seen them in so many different places, or, you know, at a cannabis event, and they're so adorable. Like, but for them too, you know, where people are looking for alternatives, and there's, especially with COVID, there's like all this crazy news coming down where people are thinking about their food system for the first time in a long time, their local food system, the importance of farmers, all the things you're saying. Some of those are addressed in the book as the call to action and things that we can do to empower ourselves to make better choices every day, to support voting isn't every November 2nd. Voting is every day, like who we're supporting. Are we supporting like these huge monster organizations, or are we supporting like a local family who sends their kids who can pay for soccer and do things like that with our dollars? Those are all like the conscious capitalist person, you know? But the book is for everyone from every walk of life and every diet, and those looking to add more plant-based foods at a time when some of the horrors of the meat industry are really coming to light. Like, this is really an opportunity for us to make some small changes, or really big ones, and change the way that we look and feel daily. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I see the old guard is shifting, right? It's the new guard is coming in. The message is being heard. There is a big paradigm in business right now, change that, oh, we have to make the change. If not, we're out. You can see a multi-million or billion-dollar company go down in the shitter when people stop buying their freaking products. They have to make the change. It's forcing them to do that. Nobody wants to be forced, but when you do the right things in business, I personally feel you'll be in business for a mighty long freaking time.
No doubt.
And that's our goal, right? When it comes to healthy, clean soils, healthy nutrition, clean, healthy water, clean, healthy air, you know, we're trying to be the change we want to see. So I got a question for you before we wrap this up. Well, you're doing amazing things, and I thank you very much. But what would you say or do, or things, how can you make the world a better place? What are your thoughts on where we're going, and where do you see the next? Doesn't all have to be hemp-based, by the way, your answer.
No, I think my answer is something that I'm going to keep talking about every time I have a platform for the next year about the book, really is like, and the very last page of the book is a call to action. And there's a list of stuff that we can actually do to answer your question.
Awesome.
You know, we can, you know, and I think that now more than ever, it's like really, I mean, I think in Boulder County has like a 2-week food shelf. What does that mean? Yeah. That means we probably don't even have 2 weeks of food that's already stored at the store here.
Yeah.
That's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. So what do? You can sit in like a fetal position and totally lose your shit right now, or you can join a CSA. I think that's one of the best things that people could do is join your local community supported agriculture, pay your local farmer, Johnny down the road, where you can go see it. You can get money off your share by helping out. I think that's imperative. I think really evaluating your personal economy with how you spend the money you make and where you're spending that money. Are you giving it to Amazon, or are you like going to the little butcher down the store? Like, are you going to Whole Foods, or are you going to even Vitamin Cottage, which is, I don't know if they have it in Texas, but like it's still family owned. Like, how are you spending the dollars, and what are you spending the dollars on? And you know what? It's not popular, but like, bye, Felicia, to the cruise ships. How the fuck have we gotten to a place where it's been acceptable for people to dump millions of pounds of trash in the ocean?
Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started. I was in the
Don't want a
Navy.
fucking cruise. I'm glad they're selling it. Bye, Felicia. We're done with that. That shit is done. We have to change immediately. The planet is heating so fast. We are in an emergency.
Yeah.
Emergency.
Well,
So-
I tell you, dumping stuff in the ocean is one of the worst things that could ever be done. I was in the Navy. I don't know if you heard the show before, but I was in the Navy back in the 90s during the Gulf War. And one of the jobs on the ship was to take garbage, wrap it up in brown bags, tape it up, and jettison it off the ship. So you do that one time and you collect it and you see it thrown. Now, I had no choice but to do my job and at least bring it to the fantail, but I refused to throw it off the ship. I know it was going to get thrown off, but I was so sickened by that. And, you know, my stint in the Navy was only about 2 years. They found this cannabis in my urine. I don't know how it got there. Actually, I do, but you know, so I don't want to pollute our planet or our people, and all the damage we've done to this planet can be repaired. But if we don't get our act in gear, the planet's going to take care of us in its own powers. And you cannot do this to this world. We don't have a planet B.
We don't have a planet B. So yes, I mean, I'm a solution-oriented person at this phase in life, and I
Oh, can't hear you. I lost you there. Do you have your? Oh, there. Try that. It might be the connection. Aw, snap. I think you can hear me, right?
Oh, no, I couldn't.
You're on. Go ahead.
You're on. I don't even remember what I was saying.
It was about no planet B.
Oh yeah, no planet B. No planet B. Yeah, let's be solution oriented. Objects in the mirror are actually smaller than they appear when you're trying to move forward and get down the road of life. And so we need to do the right thing when no one's looking. That is a part of every time I'm going to speak. We must do that. We must do that. And the time is now. And so hemp can change the world.
It can change the world. And thank you for being a part of that change in a positive manner, continuing on your mission. And, you know, I thank you very much for your time here. And you guys go check out ShadiRamey.com. Check out her stuff on Facebook. Be part of the Magic Mushroom Show. You know, go.
Yes, and hempcanchangetheworld.com.
Hempcanchangetheworld.com.
Yep,
and do you have an email?
Oops,
What's
I'm
that?
sorry. 1 second. Hempcanchangetheworld.com. We'll be live on October 1st, and we'll be doing pre-sales. And then on November 2nd, we will be sending out everybody's books. And
Fantastic.
there'll be download options as well. So hempcanchangetheworld.com. There's some great events that we'll be having and adding to international and in the U.S. for 2021. ShadiRamey.com for my own stuff. And a good email for me is inquiries@ShadiRamey.com.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Shadi, I appreciate your time here and all your knowledge and wisdom, and it was fun having you on the show. And I hope the listeners and fans out there take this message and run with it and support hemp. Get the book. I can't wait for it to come. I got to get one of those. I need one of those to add to my collection of books. And I appreciate you and everything you're doing. So thank you very much. And in hemp we trust.
Peace.
All right, guys. Well, that was an amazing episode with Shadi Ramey. Check her out on ShadiRamey.com, another female in the space that's doing tremendous work. We didn't get to talk about it too much on the show, but we had our past guest on the show, Brigitte Mars, who's also a hemp nut cookbook author with Richard Rose, Pioneers in the Space. And then we have some great products here made in the United States, Good Seed Hemp Burgers from Oliver Ponce and Company. And check out Hempway Foods with Carla Boyd. And she's out of Colorado, and she's a big pioneer in the space too. So there's a lot of good people making good food, good products, good health, good nutrition. We always want to feed that soul and mind, and with our hearts moving forward. It's products. I want to say thank you to my sponsors, Tiny Hemp Houses, Hemp Sense USA, HD Innovates, Colorado Hemp Tea, and Canaf Partners USA, Hemp Sense USA. If you see these products behind me, go ahead online, hempsenseusa.com. Get yourself a bag of cat litter, soil enricher, animal bedding. It's amazing products. Check out the videos that I've done on Hemp Sense USA, and you'll see the absorbency. And this is a great patented product. And we have hemp seeds coming to stores near you, and we have a Pet Pro to keep your pets healthy. So these are really amazing products. I don't just say it, it's true. And I read off some of the benefits of the hemp seed and all the vitamins and minerals that's in it. So feed your mind, feed your body, and feed your soul. And in hemp we trust. And I love you guys. Continue on planting seeds of wellness for the people on the planet with my mission. And go love somebody, go hug somebody. And to all my kids out there, I love you and I miss you. And big hugs to everybody. Let's all make the world a better place, one day at a time.
You just listened to the Hemp Chat, the show that inspires, educates, and innovates. Together, we are planting seeds of wellness for the people and the planet. So go ahead, plant it.